Right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Here we got what's today? We got Wednesday, March the 11th, 2026, and so I'm just gonna head in to work here at lunchtime. This is normally the walk I do in the morning, but we're gonna do it at lunchtime here. We're gonna do it on YouTube. Let me know if the audio is okay. I was having some audio problems due to the rain this morning, but that was on TikTok, so hopefully there's no audio issues. Please let me know. Aisha, how you doing? Yeah, I'm on a little bit early today. Thanks for being on. Let me know if the audio is okay. I think my voice was muffled because we had the rain and the hail. See, there's still rain puddles from. Look at his car. It's in the ditch here. Here's the blue house. Here we're on Fullerton near Clark, and so it shows you how much rain we got. A lot of the drains are clogged. We saw this morning. See, there's Clark and Fullerton. Yeah, the audio's good. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks, Aisha, there, XRT fan. Chris, Prince, Sabrina Suburban Garden, afternoon. Yeah, I'm here. I'm on a little earlier today, but we'll still get our lunchtime walk in. It's like misting. It's like just like a little. You feel like there's some moisture in the air, but there is supposed to be some more rain and maybe changing the snow this afternoon. I just, I get antsy working at home. I prefer to work in the office. I'm one of those weirdos. Don't tell everybody younger than me. I know everybody younger than me likes working from home. I just feel so isolated. It reminds me of the pandemic. I feel like we're still stuck in the pandemic when everybody's working from home. But I guess this is going to be like the rest of our lives. I don't think we're going back to the world we lived in before the pandemic, and especially with AI and all this stuff. But there's the wide Lincoln Park lots. So yeah, if you just joined here, I'm not downtown. I'm in Lincoln Park. This is the neighborhood I live in, which is about 3 miles north of where we usually walk. And this shows you the walk I usually do in the morning. See, look, March the 11th, their daffodils are starting to come out. We're starting to see buds on some of the trees, and yeah, 9:50 p.m. Yeah, see, good. So it's actually earlier in the evening. So a lot of times, Aisha, it's probably easier for you to watch in the morning, but I don't know how. For me, because it'll be more. But thanks for watching in the evening there. Maybe that's a convenient time for you, and hope it works with your job there. Here's yeah, look at the nice housing here. These are, we went by the twin sisters there. That's what I call them. They survived the Great Chicago Fire. I'm glad I'm wearing my boots today because we're walking through puddles everywhere. There's the nice housing on Cleveland Street here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We'll head into work. We'll get into the office before 1 p.m. At least that's what our plan is. Della, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. My Aunt Della, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I just saw your comment there. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I know we had some amazingly warm weather. You guys were even warmer than us. We got up to 74 on Monday, 74 Fahrenheit. People were actually at the beach, but then now we crashed back down. We got hail last night. Chris Gustafson, he posted, I think his brother-in-law or somebody took it, and it was like golf ball size hail coming down. Ernesto, Chicago Nuggies, filmed it downtown. They had nickel size hail. We only had pea size hail. I was caught in the hail a little bit last night, but it wasn't that bad. But look, Aisha and Della, look at the daffodils. My dad said his daffodils are coming up. It seems early this year. I know that this warm weather has the plants all confused. Yeah, the days get boring. Good, that's good. I look forward to the lives too. Thanks for tuning in, and I'm happy that the YouTube app seems to be working better. Now, we had an issue yesterday when my audio was fine my audio was fine throughout. The comments stopped working when I went through that tunnel. And again, that's a YouTube problem. I've on message with sometimes the comments stop working. but I was able to finish the live, and we'll see if everything works out better today. But yeah, beautiful neighborhood. Thanks for tuning in. KB, SVP, Mimi, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, this is not Texas. This is Chicago. We're still in winter time, even though everybody's getting spring fever. We got the this Saturday, March the 14th, they're going to dye the River Green, 10 a.m. That's Chicago Central Time. So it'll be early. We'll try to get down there and live stream. There'll be other Chicago live streamers there. So if my connection cuts out because of the crowds, you can switch to somebody else there that maybe has better luck or a better service provider. Here's some of the gardens so you get ideas. Look at this ultra modern brutalist building. It's like concrete, but still works. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Well, hey, if you want to get a taste of it, you can watch and don't have to get in the crowds or wait for the restroom. And we'll probably hook up with Ernesto Chicago Nuggies, and Grim Evil might be coming downtown for the festivities. We'll see. And if so, we'll go to bar to bar to bar. It'll be good to be with the group, and we can see people partying, getting their drink on. Saturday. Sunday it's supposed to rain, so I know my South Side audience, they'll be like, please go to the South Side parade there at Beverly and 111th. But if I'm exhausted from Saturday, we might have to let somebody else cover it. I don't know who else wants to go down there to cover the live stream the Southside Irish Parade there in Beverly. There's a huge Irish American community there. It's not just Bridgeport, it's also Beverly. People move further out. Hey, here we go, Cleveland Street. What's up today? Well, crazy weather. We're technically above freezing, but not too much. We're in the mid-30s here, Fahrenheit, 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. Look at this. This is such a simple, beautiful building. It has that cornice that wraps around the curve of the bay window. Look how simple and elegant that is, but it works because the arch in the windows reflects the arch in the window bay. Nice brick buildings here, Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. We're almost down to Lincoln Avenue. I don't have the exact time because, well, okay, let me take this other phone and put it in a pocket I can easily access. That's the only thing I don't like. Not the only thing, that's one of the things I don't like about YouTube app is I can't see the time. There, 11:28. So 11:28. So we started about 11:17, 11:18. So we'll try to, I can tell how long I've been streaming. I can try to do the math maybe. But hey, we'll keep going here. So I don't know if this has been on Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. They do use Chicago as a set for a lot of their filming. We've seen them film stuff downtown. I filmed some of their sets downtown. Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Med. There's the plants coming out. There's the Carnival. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. You got a new job. Yeah, that's good. Well, no, I know Anisha got a good job. You must be talking to some other people. That's good. So, see, isn't this nice? See, people can have side conversations. And I like that people communicate with each other. You got a nice group of people. Thanks for being part of the lunch bunch here. So, hey, if you like this, hit the thumbs up. We'll head on into downtown Chicago. We'll cross Lincoln Avenue. I'm thinking about heading by the casino site. There's also a park. There's a park that they're constructing just south of North Avenue at Larrabee. And I went by there on the elevated train earlier this week, and I saw they're making good progress on it, so I'll see what it looks like at ground level. I was kicking myself I wasn't filming it from the train because we had a nice view, but I didn't start streaming until that was the same day we did the Iditarod, where they raced around the shopping carts. Yeah, tea lime tea time. How you doing? Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, let's hey, they got the numbers on there. I wonder what that's from. Does it have a boot on it? Let's see if this car's got a boot on it. Sometimes they put the date. No, it doesn't. Huh. Nope, somebody's getting in the car. I hope somebody doesn't think I'm filming them. It always freaks me out that there's always people sitting in cars and in cars, and they get really freaked out when they see somebody with the camera walking by their car, because it looks like I'm filming their license plates when I'm just walking down the street. And I don't intend to. It's in the background, just like all these. Here's some of the housing on Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. 36 degrees, 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. Yeah, Gailey, thanks for tuning in there. Gailey Hughes. Yeah, we're about to cross Armitage Street on Cleveland. Lincoln Park, Chicago is the neighborhood in Chicago, Illinois, United States of America. See, we got brick alleys. Some of the alleys are brick, most of them are not. And we get the nice. Most of the housing here was built in the 1880s, 1890s after the Great Chicago Fire. That was the first or the second wave. The first wave, of course, was mostly destroyed in the Great Chicago Fire. There's a few, 1 or 3 buildings that remain in this area. Here we got a stop sign, so we'll cross. This is Armitage looking west towards Wicker Park. There's looking east towards the lake. We're in Lincoln Park. We're heading south. We're heading towards the Loop of Chicago. We might see the casino along the way, the new casino construction. Yeah, Scott's tuning in. Yeah, Albert's tuning in. Good. CJ's mom. Yeah, happy hump day. Middle of the week. There, 1951. See, we get. Usually, all you see lunchtime is downtown. Now I'm looking at you see some residential neighborhoods, single-family residential and multi-family bedroom community here, with some, you know, restaurants and services, grocery stores and things like that. Yeah, this is Chicago. Thanks for tuning in. This is Cleveland Street. If I say Chicago a lot, you see in the comments there about every 3rd or 5th comment, someone's like, where is this at? And it's in my name there, Brian, really Chicago. But I know, thanks for checking. Sometimes we're in New Orleans, sometimes we're in Houston, sometimes we're in other cities. But now we're in Chicago because that's where I live and that's where I'm based and have employment for now. Here's yeah, look at that empty lot there. There's garbage. There's your garbage on the alley. So there you can see the 25 by 125 lots. There's a squirrel. How you doing there, squirrel? Look at this nice bird feeder. The bird baths are all full. We had some rain and hail, thunderstorm and lightning. Did anybody get any storms? It was crazy wind. It was an amazing temperature differential between Kankakee, Illinois, and Lake Michigan. Yesterday at one point Kankakee was 75 degrees and the lakefront was 38 degrees. And that's what causes the storms. That cold front still going through Indiana, moving further east towards Ohio now. Calm and pleasant environment. Yeah, that's why, you know, some people think Lincoln Park's dull and boring. I know it's overpriced. It's very expensive. But it works for me. I can barely afford to live here without a car, so I'm just treading water. As the cost of living goes up, up, up. We need more housing. We need more affordable housing is what we need. There's too much luxury, and they're actually using the shortage of housing to push up rents for everybody else. That's why there's a lot of Chicago gatekeepers that are they don't want people moving here. So they're happy if crime's up. It's a strange dynamic. Here's yeah, see here we're seeing signs of spring here, even March 11th. Look at the little buds on the trees. I think it's way too early. We're going to get probably a snow or two before the winter's over, because technically we're still in winter meteorologically until March the 20th. But here, 1800 block of Cleveland Street. Yeah, lack of affordable housing everywhere. You're right. It's not just Chicago. It's nationwide and probably worldwide. And, oops. Yeah, look at this puddle. Look at this puddle. We got some rain overnight. A lot of the gutters are, see this leaves and debris. It's clogging up the drains. This happens. Yeah, the streets are empty. Isn't it funny? I walk through here in the morning and nobody's here, and everybody's like, where's all the people? And I walk here at lunchtime, nobody's here. I do see a few people. Usually it's the most active around 6:30 when I walk through here. People getting out of work and getting out of their cars and coming back from wherever they were at. But yeah, it's just, I've lived in Chicago for 27 years. This area has never been crowded. Michigan Avenue used to be more crowded, but you can go to the Loop on weekends and it looks like a ghost town. And looked like a ghost town after the pandemic. It's a little busier today, or this now, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Mondays and Fridays, it's not as crowded. A lot of people work 4-day weekends or work from home on Wednesdays and Fridays. There's the Old Town Market, in Old Town Triangle Historic District. That's where we're at. And yeah, see this nice tree-lined streets. Cleveland Street, Cleveland, Menominee. Yeah, let's head over to let's go over to Mohawk, and then we'll go over to Larrabee. Actually, we can head. We'll keep. We'll go one more block on Cleveland, because I want to see St. Michael's here. St. Michael's Church emerge. Yeah, the same as the MTL. Is that Montreal? Yeah, sometimes people say they're like, is this Montreal? Or they'll say, is this Boston? It'll like remind them of the Back Bay of Boston, which I've been to the Back Bay of Boston. I would love to stream in Montreal. Thanks for the help there. Yeah, MTL. I thought that's what, I'm pretty sure I thought that's what you meant. Thanks for clarifying. There, 1746, no parking. I'm sure people try to use their driveway for off-street parking. There's the sunken garden patio. See, another mid-block storefront converted to housing. This is on Cleveland Street. There's the daffodils starting to come up, 36 degrees. Wednesday. It's about 11:45. I'm not for sure of the time. I threw my watch away. I know it should be displayed on my phone, but for some reason the YouTube app doesn't display the time. At least Streamlabs does that. At least I can tell the time. Yeah, good day. Well, we got trashy areas of Chicago. Yeah, March Madness is coming up. Yeah, the basketball tournament in the United States of America, March Madness for the college. And both men's and women's are coming up here. Should be a fun, get your brackets ready. I guess the championships are going on now for the conference championships to determine the final seeding. The selection Sunday, and then they'll have March Madness. This is St. Michael's. This is St. Michael's Catholic Church in Old Town. We'll walk through this parking lot and see they have a cul-de-sac. So Cleveland Street ends as a cul-de-sac. It continues on. It goes further south through Old Town. They just made this cul-de-sac. There's like defensible space for this church. And 12:39. Thanks for the time. Thanks for helping out with the time. Again, I can't see the time displayed on this app, so I was just guesstimating. I was a little fast. So 12:39, 12:40. Here's, thanks for the time. This is St. Michael's. St. Michael's in Old Town. So here, let's head over to Mohawk. I'm going to angle over to Larrabee because I want to check out, there's a park over here that they're working on. Yeah, the Chicago's got good food, all ethnicities of food, and Chicago style pizza, hot dogs, Italian beef. Most of the Chicago foods that we're known for are unhealthy, you know, but it's good food. You know, if you could eat Chicago style pizza every day and not die of a heart attack, be my guest. It's like a meatloaf pizza with gooey cheese and cornbread crust. Yeah, the best in the country. Thanks. Tortellini fettuccine. Yeah, get some tortellini fettuccine. Look at the little rabbits here. See how they use, this used to be a storefront, and they use that. They got a chair sitting there, and they use that for their sunroom. See, they face the south. Both of these, they used to be storefronts. They converted to housing. They probably got, you know, and Ogden Corners. Here's some multifamily. This is Mohawk Street. Lincoln, there's a southern end of Lincoln Park, Chicago. We're about to cross North Ave. Well, we'll head over to Larrabee. There's a signal there, and we'll cross North Avenue. And I want to show you this new park. And then we'll show the new housing by the old Cabrini Green. They're building new housing there. And then we'll head down to the casino site by the Montgomery wards. And then we'll probably end up at the Riverwalk, heading back through the downtown there. No string cheese? You're looking for the string cheese? Yeah, make America great again. Don't get me started. So don't think America is totally behind what's going on here. There's massive divisions in our country, as you well know. There's people that are supportive of the president's actions, people that are against it. And this is even stuff that happened before this latest Iran excursion. So here's the, look at the stoops here. Hey, the dog spotted me. See the streets below the streets. They raised the streets even in this area. You can see evidence of the raised streets. See these smaller scale houses, they're workmen's cottages. They built these quickly in the 1870s, generally after the Great Chicago Fire. And there's even an early iteration, the relief shanties that are much smaller. Very few of those survived because they just got them through the winter of 1871-72. But the few do, and we show them here in Old Town. Again, this is something that happened on the north side after the Great Chicago Fire in this area, because this area was all destroyed. And it was at the northern edge of the city at that time. So here we'll head over to Larrabee. This is North Avenue. They tore down all the buildings on the north side of North Avenue, so when they built these mid-century modern housing design concepts. And see, this is newer stuff that was built much later, and see how they have parking underneath the housing. It was accommodating the car. And here's North Avenue. They widened North Avenue. They added an extra 2 lanes in both directions. So there's the Brown line. There's the CTA elevated train heading across Mohawk. That's heading into the loop. And here's a fitness boxing. There's the boxing club there. They actually have a boxing ring like Rocky. Yeah, Bridgeport. Yeah, Bridgeport has the raised streets. You see it in Bridgeport, Chinatown, McKinley Park. You see it even in the east side, the southeast side. You see it really there towards Commercial and 91st, towards the Calumet River. You see it on the west side. We've seen it in Noble Square. We've seen it in Pilsen, and you see it in the lower west side. You see the raised streets, and so yeah, it's you see the raised streets more on the south and west side because those areas weren't as much destroyed. They weren't destroyed by the Great Chicago Fire. So there's actually probably a lot of buildings that survived the Great Chicago Fire, including the church that the Dailies went to, the Union Church, or the church in Bridport on Union and 37th. So here we'll get some views to the Sears Tower. Looks like it's in the clouds. We're waiting to cross North Avenue at Larrabee, waiting for the left turns. You see how wide North Avenue? They kept the buildings on the south side. They tore all the buildings down north side to widen North Avenue. That's why all the housing on the north side of North Avenue is newer. And here we'll go under the elevated train tracks. They built this about 2015. That used to be a strip mall. It was called the Father and Son Restaurant, but then they turned it into... The housing has nice views looking towards the skyline from the train there. Here, Kababish, Pakistan and Indian cuisine. Barbecue and grill right next to the tracks here. So you can go to Kababish and get a kebab. Barbecue and grill. They got a little outdoor patio. You can hear the train coming by. It's actually not a bad spot. So here we're going to check out this park. Here the trains, I think the train's going to come by. So, no, maybe not. I thought I heard a rumble, but it was just a truck behind me. So here's the brown and purple line elevated tracks we're looking underneath. They got shopping carts. There's some more shopping carts. But look at this new park. I can't wait to show off this new park. Yeah, this has been an empty lot. Well, it was a park. It was a park and a running track, but it was kind of underdeveloped. And they started working on this last year. And it looks like they got a running track. They got a dog park. They're gonna have some fountains. And it looks like they got a pavilion. The pavilion will have views to the skyline, so they could have, you know, music events and things here, movies in the park. This is in Chicago. We're on Larrabee, south and north. So this housing was built, I think, in the late 1990s. And that housing was here when Cabrini Green was here. This wasn't. And then the towers for Green, the green portion of Cabrini Green were over here. We're trying to film over the fence for this new park. Yeah, it was hard. So many people were banned. Yeah, okay, I see you having some conversations about people being banned and going live on TikTok. It looks like that's just going to be a pergola, I guess. Maybe that's not going to be a band show. I read it wrong. But hey, we're checking out this new park. I don't even know if it has a name. Here, park improvements. The sign, park improvements coming soon. That's what it says. I thought it would say the name of the park. I don't know what the name of this park is, but hopefully they'll see. It looks like there's going to be some stuff over there. I don't know if it'll connect to that housing or if they're going to fence it off. There's a path. There's a path that you can go from Larrabee to Blackhawk. You can go over towards, you can connect with that street over there. Park improvements coming soon. Here we go, Chicago Park District. That's we're filming here. This is this new park. Very nice. So here, Larrabee and Blackhawk Street, Chicago, Illinois. So you see this big empty lot? This used to be the northernmost end of Cabrini Green, and that was the public housing in Chicago here. There's still a small portion remaining from the 1940s Francis Xavier Cabrini homes passed near there. That school was there. You might remember from Candyman. We'll go by this church. You ever seen the 1992 Candyman version? But they tore the high-rise public housing down here, and this housing was built before the housing came down. Can you believe that? Yeah, your childhood neighborhood, Grandma's Corner. Hey, you can help us out. You remember it better than I do because I wasn't living in Chicago. Well, I moved to Chicago in 1999. I remember driving through Clybourne and taking taxis through this area. But as most people, like you and other people, it wouldn't be as easy for me to just casually lie here in the heyday of Cabrini Green, it was a pretty interesting place to grow up. I'm sure you can tell us about it. And I have walked down Cambridge Street, which is the last portion where there are some people still living in the last, the one side of the street's condemned with the fencing, the other side's not. We walk down through there, and here's Clybourne. But you know the Candyman movie, there was a 1992 version, and I think they made that movie. It was a horror movie that was set in Cabrini Green. And that's, to me, it's like a time capsule, because you can see the skyline, and you see like this church and like the school in the background, but you see other buildings and they're gone. Just like there used to be a building right here. Yeah. So do you care about countries other than Israel, or just Israel? Thanks for supporting Israel, but I'm sure you care about other countries besides Israel, right? Or is it just Israel you care about? Thanks for tuning in. That's what always cracks me up about people that say, oh, America's the most one indispensable nation on the earth. I think the earth's starting to figure out that they can live without America if they have to. And we shouldn't be so headstrong, because we can act. Yeah, we have the strongest military. No one questions that. That doesn't mean people like you. Here's Old Town. Here's Old Town. There's the John Hancock. There's the tall housing there on Wells Street. See, look, there was a basement. There was a medical clinic. There was a health clinic here, and it must have had a basement, but they tore the building down. You can see the chamber that was below there. Let's get across the street. This is Clybourne Street, and we're on the backside of Old Town. We got this nice view to the Chicago skyline as we cross Clybourne here. You can look down to the one Chicago Tower, straight down Clybourne, see that Old Town. They're trying to brand this as Old Town because no one really knows what this is called now. See, there's that church. It used to have murals on it. You can see it from the old Candyman. There's the school where they built this. And we'll head down. This Target's, they built it after the housing came down. Yeah, it was very misty. Yeah, we saw the hail, the Ernesto, the hail downtown was pretty intense. Yeah. So you saw some broken sidewalk, you think the whole world went to pot. Yeah, think about how much money we're wasting on these missiles blowing up in the skies there. Here, new Zega restaurant. They got Kung Fu there. Yeah, remember. Here's Club 33. Fitness. Yeah, they got a fitness club. This almost looks like it could be in San Antonio. But here's some of the housing along Larrabee. We'll get some nice skyline views. It's overcast here. Welcome to Chicago. We got about 36 degrees. It's kind of a rainy day. And we'll go hang out with the geese here. There's some views. See the top of the Trump Tower is in the clouds. I know. They'll see the clogged drains. They'll be like, oh man, Brandon Johnson can't even clear the drains. What's the world coming to? Yeah, I gotta cross the street here. I can't even cross the street here. Oh, the ducks like it though, or the geese like it. They're drinking the oil-stained water. You want some froth? Here's there's the one Chicago Tower that connects over to Clybourne. We're gonna cross Division Street. There's a fire station, and there's a police station here. Scott and Larrabee. There's some of the old industrial. This is the parking lot for the Target. So the Target is above the parking, and they do this a lot in their urban conditions. Instead of building it still functions the same way. It functions like a surface parking lot. It's just you have to take an elevator up to get to the big giant floor plate, which is above the parking. So I like it because the The big box retail is on top of the parking. And if they do it right, they could build housing above the commercial and go into the air rights and just keep going up. They do the columns and the structure right. Plan ahead. Here's yeah. Yeah, hopefully the ADA accessibility laws have made ADA accessibility better, not just for sidewalks, but even for, see, there's an escalator and there's an elevator you can get up from the parking lot to the other way. It's, you know, it's an inconvenience for everybody. Everybody has to do it. Here's Larrabee and Division, Chicago, Illinois. Here's the Chicago Fire Department here, 548 West Division. This is a newer fire station, relatively. Engine number 4, tower, ladder number 10. There's an ambulance here too. I don't know what the ambulance is, but this here's Larrabee and Division Street, Chicago, Illinois, near the former Cabrini Green here. We're waiting across the street. There's the police station. There's the housing. So there used to be Cabrini Green high-rise residential towers here. They tore those down about 2009 or before then even, and this is some of the housing that replaced it. Some of this is mixed income, affordable mixed with market rate, and there they built that big box Target right there. Now remember, 2 years ago there was giant tent encampments with the migrants, and last year they were gone, and yeah, thanks for checking out Chicago there, Michael. Yeah. So yeah, that's why I've been live streaming in Chicago for over 3 years now. You know, we get the same. I know we got crime. We're a big bad city, and we got high taxes, but we get the same tired stereotypes over and over again. It shows you how prevalent they are. It goes back even beyond Al Capone. This city has a violent reputation for prohibition, and then of course the gangland violence of the 70s, 80s, and 90s that continued into the 2000s. And even in the 1800s, this was a dangerous place to live. They wouldn't even stop the trains for kids playing on the tracks. They would just run them over, and every day someone would die from a at-grade train crossing. It was just considered the cost of doing business, you know. Larrabee and Elm. So here, let's show you some of the new housing. And the rain's starting to come down here. So this is Elm Street. We'll head one block in here. And of course the Wayman Church is over here. Dr. Martin Luther King gave a speech here in 1967 when Cabrini Green was here. This area looked completely different. And then 100 years before that, when the Wayman Church was built, this was more single family residential. It became run down. They called it Little Hell, like Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, but this was in Chicago. And actually, there was an older neighborhood here called Kildobbin. Has anybody heard about, am I saying it right? Kildobbin. It was like an Irish kind of European immigrant neighborhood in the mid 1800s, like around the time of the Civil War. And it had a violent reputation even then. Like people would get rolled. And so this neighborhood has a long and storied history. So yeah, this is Elm Street in Cambridge. This is Cambridge. So look, Cambridge Street looks completely different. This used to be a surface parking lot. All this is new. All this has been built within the last year or two. And some of this was here already. We see how it's the same style. They're kind of matching. And over there, there's the Jenner School for the Arts over there. That's what that orange building is. And this is some of the new housing here in the former Cabrini Green. It took them 15 years to build this after they tore down the housing. This has been empty lots and surface parking lots for a long time. Yeah, it looks nice now. And this is what you call, people, somebody probably already wrote gentrification, you know, but some of this is affordable housing, some of it's market rate. And so it's a mix of incomes, which is the whole idea. And the idea was to build enough affordable housing here so people could move back, but it took 15 years. So what were you doing? You know, you had to live somewhere else for 15 years to come back. Here's there's the construction elevator. See the counterweight? Look how that thing works. And here's the new housing here. See, these will have nice views to the skyline. See the skylines in the clouds there. We're getting a little bit of rain, but it's not too bad. Let me know if it affects the audio. I'll try to keep the lens and my equipment dry here. We're just getting a little drizzle. We're at Hobie and Cambridge. Look at this new housing, and see, look at the views you get. That's the John Hancock over by Michigan Avenue. We're about a half a mile west of that, over closer to the North Branch of Chicago River. So here we'll show you this. These are the last remaining portion of the original 1940s era Francis Xavier Cabrini homes, part of Cabrini Green. And you see how they're all condemned, of the windows are boarded up. This side of Cambridge, people still live there. And we walked through there, talked to some of the people. And there's see, people use this as a dog park. Look at the little dogs. Look at this, look at these skyline views. Look at those nice skyline views to Michigan Avenue. People are walking the dogs there. There, inquire today. Hobie leasing offices. I guess that's for this stuff. If you want to lease any apartments in there, talk to them. Yeah, I got videos in O Block. They are building some stuff down. They were building a hotel on Martin Luther King and 65th or 66th. I know most people say 63rd and MLK, but that's actually where the green line is. You have to go south, Parkway Gardens, O Block. Yeah, we filmed the King Von mural. This is a completely different area. This is on the north side. Well, barely on the north side. It's closer to downtown Cambridge and Oak. This is Cabrini Green. So yeah, O Block is called Parkway Gardens, the housing. And on the south side were the Robert Taylor homes and the Stateway Gardens. On the west side, it was the Henry Horner homes. And then on the north side here where we're at, it was Cabrini Green. So there was public housing, and there still is public housing all interspersed all throughout the city. It's just not these huge multi-block, super block housings that go for miles. The warehousing of the poor. Mayor Daley the first. Robert Moses did the same thing in New York. They built these, some of Stuyvesant Village. Have you ever been to Stuyvesant Village in Manhattan? It's huge. And ones in Queens and Brooklyn, the Bronx, huge public housing. It still exists to this day. That was built in the same period, 50s, 60s, 70s in the United States. So here we'll head across. Now we're back on Larrabee. I just took a diversion there to show you that housing. See, there's plans for developing this lot. I don't see anything coming out of the ground yet. There you can see some of with the skyline of Chicago. There's Francis Xavier Cabrini homes with the skyline of Chicago. Always the juxtaposition of such corporate wealth next to such extreme concentrations of poverty was always interesting. It kind of illustrates Chicago. It's a tale of two cities. There's extreme wealth in Chicago. That's why people are always so confused when I film Lincoln Park. And they're like, go to the south side and west side, because in their mind, that's what they picture Chicago. But there's beautiful areas on the south and west side too, and the whole city's not, public housing projects, how people imagine it. But maybe that's how they experienced it when they visited earlier, And one time it was a lot more. But here, we're heading down Larrabee. We're heading to work here. We'll see what time we got. I think we're about the noon hour, right? Getting close. Let's see what time we got here. No, yeah, 12:04. 12:04. Yeah, the hotel, they were just like renovating it. Yeah, we're gonna turn it into a, I just was I just like the idea when I went by there that there was a hotel you could stay with. And I would tell people that, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Have you been there? You know, watch my rerun. You know, you can see it in my rerun." No one watches. Everybody tells me to go to O Block, but then when I go there and film it, no one watches, and no one watches the rerun. And it shows you no one really. It's just something to say. It's just like, you know, prove you're a real man. Go to O Block. That's essentially what they're saying. They're saying, you know. It's like jump in the lake to prove you're brave, and then when you do it, they just laugh at you. Say, "Oh, we got you to do it. We didn't really care if you did it or not. We just want to laugh at you." That's the whole point. Here's Larrabee, and we're almost to Chicago Avenue. Kingsbury comes in here. We're over by the old Montgomery wards. And the reason I walk this way, I want to check out the casino construction site. So we'll go by Betty's Chicago. It's a cooking, you can take cooking classes. It's a great for date night. You can go here, and I can show this since we're on YouTube's much more forgiving than TikTok with these type of businesses. But here's Betty Chicago. Yeah, how you doing? There's Betty Chicago. See, they got date night, cooking classes, event space. Betty Chicago. She has a huge social media presence. There, Betty Chicago, and it's right here on 600 block of Larrabee, where Kingsbury meets Larrabee here in Chicago. Wes, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Scott, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Travell. Bell. Tea time, T-line, tea time. It's too hot in the summer. Thanks, Scott, yeah. So here, there's the, see, they remember they had that all under scaffolding. There's the nice tower there for Montgomery wards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly go down by the health club, and we'll check out the casino construction at the river. They also removed the Chicago Avenue bridge, and so we'll see if there's, that's probably going to be gone for a while. It's so weird how they did these steps. I want to go there, but I have to go here. They did it on purpose because I don't think they want people going this way, but Little Village, what, 26th Street? Is that what we're talking about? Let's see. So if you go to my TikTok, Brian Really Chicago, pinned to the top, that's the easiest way to find it. Right in the middle, you'll see the King Von. You go to my TikTok page, Brian Really Chicago, if you got TikTok. If you don't, message me on YouTube. We'll transfer the video to YouTube so I can prove to you I went to O Block, because I see how important it is to you. Here, let's go down to, you know how much content's on O Block? If you go to YouTube, there's 10,000 million videos of O Block, hour-long documentaries. They interview O.D. Perry before he died. They talked with King Von about O.D. Perry, and now King Von's gone. Chief Keef, Juice WRLD. I think what Juice WRLD was associated with Blue Island, right? You know. Polo G came from the Marshall Field Garden Apartments. We walked Polo G, Chicago drill hip-hop rapper, grew up on the north side near Cabrini Green, where we just went through. So here, let's check out the casino. Let's check out the casino construction. Here, we look. So they got cranes on the barge there. There's the hotel. So this is the new Bally's Casino in Chicago. We got March the 11th, 2026. There's the southern tip of Goose Island. This is the old Montgomery wards, which is now converted to housing and offices. This is the new Bally's Casino. They want to have this completed by the end of the year. I don't think they're going to make it, but they're going to try. And here's some of the pride. See how the Chicago Avenue Bridge is completely removed. They're going to replace it. It's going to be an arch bridge that's going to connect to Halstead, and they're redoing the Halstead and Chicago intersection. This you can't even go underneath here. That's why I have to go back around. So you can catch the water taxi here. The water taxi does connect here, but I don't know. It's probably just in the mornings and the evenings, rush hour. So here we'll head back up to the street level here. Yeah, there's casinos everywhere. There's you know, most Native American nations have one. A lot of rural states have them. A lot of cities. Cincinnati has a casino. Indiana has casinos. Illinois already has casinos in Elgin, Aurora, and Joliet. There's casinos in Wisconsin. I often argue when there's a casino in Times Square and there's a casino, they're building one in downtown Chicago, and there's a casino on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and there's a casino in every airport. Are you going to go to Las Vegas or just gamble from your phone? You know, and that's I'm just amazed we still haven't reached the saturation point of gambling. You know, isn't that amazing? So now a steady rain is falling here. If my audio gets weird, let me know, because sometimes a drop of water will get under the phone and mess with the audio mic there. The 5 and Dime store, yeah. So here, we don't have to wait for the light. See, once again, we're talking about the Second Amendment. People are like, Brian, please don't talk about politics. And then people talk about the Second Amendment, so I'll just let it slide. There you go, go ahead through. They got a cone there, so okay, thank you, appreciate it. So I wasn't expecting. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay, make it through, thank you. You want me to move it for you? I can move it for you. I didn't realize you wanted me to move it. I thought you were going to drive through. Okay, I was shocked. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. He was just going to park. Okay, good. He was just trying to get across the intersection to park. Good. No, that's fine. We can talk about Second Amendment. It's just hard for me to talk about it because I'll get like, the algorithm doesn't like it when I talk about it, but people can talk about it in the comments. It's more of a TikTok thing. I think YouTube's much more forgiving. But can you believe when I moved to Chicago, and it drove the NRA nuts, and the NRA was successful in lobbying the city of Chicago and Cook County. It was when I moved, as I understood it, maybe I'm wrong. People help me out here. I don't understand these issues sometimes. When I moved to Chicago in 1999, you had to have a permit to have a gun in the city of Chicago. Now that's changed because the NRA has lobbied nationwide and removed all those barriers, and even in Illinois. And so the question becomes, again, the eternal questions: do more guns make us more safe, or do more guns, do more weapons make the world more safe? If that's the case, well, let's just give everybody a nuclear weapon, and we'll have 4 billion nuclear weapons. Will that make us more safe? You see where my logic's going here. And just because there's more guns in the world, I don't necessarily feel more safe, because I'm an emotional person. People don't like when I get emotional. If I had a weapon, you really wouldn't like it when I get emotional. And that's the human condition, is that and just because you have a weapon and can defend yourself, you can still be sued for wrongful death. You still might have to pay millions of dollars to the person you defended yourself from and their family because they sued you for a wrongful death, even though you were defending yourself and you had the right to defend yourself. It doesn't solve you. You can still be sued for killing somebody, even in self-defense. Here's the Bally's Casino here in Chicago. So hey, thanks for tuning in here. We got March the 11th, 2026. We're checking out the construction progress of the Bally's Casino here in Chicago. Here comes, this is not the water taxi. This is a architectural cruise boat, and it looks like it's probably gonna, well, no, this might be a water taxi. I don't know if Lucia's serving as a water taxi. This might be the water taxi heading up to one of the competing water taxis heading up to the Montgomery Ward water taxi site. Now see how they want to be able the boats to be able to pull up to the casino. There's going to be a Riverwalk on the western shore there, and there's going to be places for the boats to pull up and more. And here's the casino, or the hotel portion of the Bally's Casino. Here we're seeing construction progress on March the 11th, 2026. Thanks for tuning in. We got about 36 degrees, rain. There's the Bally's Casino here, North Branch, Chicago River. There's the Ohio Street viaduct. Looks like traffic's backing up. And we'll just head down Kingsbury. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking this live. We got over 120 likes. That helps me out. And yeah, we'll head up the river here. Now the rain's getting stronger, so I knew I wasn't gonna get lucky. I knew I got wet this morning. I got wet now, so that's what I get for leaving the house. I should have just stayed inside. But hey, thanks for checking out the rain in Chicago. There's the hotel portion of the Bally's Casino. It's getting tall. It's like 20 stories tall already. It's gonna be 35 stories. So I went by the Harry Potter store last night. I'm not gonna go by it right now because it's not on my way to work from where I'm at now. I go by the Harry Potter store about 5 times a week. So if you follow me, we'll go by. I got reruns of the Harry Potter store. If you're that interested in it, message me. I'll send you a rerun of the Harry Potter store. But yeah, I'm not going out of my way for that. No offense. Here's the Ohio Street Bridge. Look at that nice view to the Chicago portion of the Chicago skyline there. And there used to be really nice views to the Sears Tower, but they're kind of blocked now by these other buildings. Hey, there I am. See, I flipped around. Hey, there's Brian Reed, Chicago. How you doing? So what happened? A raindrop hit my screen and flipped around the camera. That raindrop did that. So let me wipe down the screen. Is the camera okay? Yeah, let me wipe down the screen here. Hopefully the rain will subside here. Yeah, and get really hot and humid in the summertime. Look, there's a look. This shows you how much rain we got overnight. The drain must be clogged here along this little stretch of Riverwalk, just north of Ohio Street here at the North Branch Chicago River. We'll walk around this water in the muck here. Hey, thanks for the compliment there. I appreciate it. You live up further than New Orleans. Hey, yeah, we were just down in New Orleans there. We took the Amtrak. That was a great trip. And you see how they fence it off. And here we'll head up. This is called Montgomery Ward Park. His Montgomery Ward distribution warehouse for his mail order catalog that's what across from the casino. There's the casino. There it is. It's really, you can see it from the West Loop. You can see it as you drive in on the Kennedy. Yeah, I'm trying not to damage my phone. If it rains any harder, I'll end this live. But if it just stays where it's at now, I think I can maintain it. I'm more worried about my gimbal than my phone. My phone's waterproof, and it's usually not my phone that shuts out. It's my gimbal, which is the thing that holds the phone and keeps it steady in my hand as I walk down the street. But hey, YouTube, this is Chicago, Ontario, and Kingsbury. So we'll head up to the Riverwalk. We'll see how we're doing on time here. As long as I got a half an hour to get to work, we should be fine. Yeah, 12:18. We're doing good. So here we'll cross the street here. Well, we'll wait till this car turns. Check out these quotes. They put these quotes up on the Archer Works here, 625 Kingsbury. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King Jr. I'd like to be remembered as a person who wanted to be free, so other people would be also free. Rosa Parks. Abraham Lincoln, to sin by silence when they should protest. makes cowards of men. See, look at the responsibility we all have. And we all live here. Planet Earth. Thank you, essential workers. This is leftover from the pandemic. Yeah, Pakistan's growing by leaps and bounds. See you later. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for tuning in. 1918, yeah, so we got 12:19 Chicago Central Time. It's rain here. We're at Kingsbury, and this should be Ohio Street. Ohio Street. This is the Ohio Street viaduct that comes off of the Kennedy Expressway. East Bank Storage. We'll go past the East Bank Club. There's some zip cars. Here's where the zip cars live. Have a good afternoon there at Tea Time. Yeah, Grandma's Corner, thanks for letting people know where we're at here. Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, we're down to Grand Avenue and Kingsbury. Here's some of the residential housing in River North or whatever they call this. It's always raining. It's always raining. It always, you know, it'll stop raining, and I'll look at the radar, and it says, "Oh, it's not going to rain until 3," and I don't see anything. And then I start walking, and then these clouds and rain come out of nowhere as soon as I start walking. Yeah, the cool rain. Yeah, I'm making you homesick for Chicago. Yeah, I got reruns of Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Med. A lot of times they'll use right near where I work, Lake and Stockton. Stetson and Lake Street, just a block off of Michigan Avenue. A lot of times they'll block off that street, and they'll for all 3 shows they'll set up a scene, and they'll make it look like the side of the building's blown up and a car is on fire and upside down, and you'll see the fire engines there, and the people can walk by, but you got to keep walking because you're actually like an extra in the background. So I try to film, but they say keep on walking, and they'll yell at me if I stop and live stream it. But we got reruns. There's the CTA train heading across. This is Illinois Street at Kingsbury, Chicago, Illinois. There's the Salesforce Tower, and this is the East Bank Club right here. It's a big health club with indoor running tracks and outdoor running tracks and rooftop pools and everything. Yeah, I've been to the 360 Chicago. I got a rerun on that as well. That's at the top of the John Hancock. Ernesto Chicago Nuggies and Overtime Seb went up there with, what's her name? Jessica. And, the flight attendant that was in Paris. And she's great. You should follow her too. And I know she helps out Jennifer You Should Eat, which is great. They were up at the top of the John Hancock on earlier this week. So was Jose Mujica. There's other live streamers besides me. They was a free week earlier. No, was that last week? That was last week. It was a free week, and they went up there. I went up there last summer with my cousin. It got a lot of views. Thanks again to the 360 Chicago for letting me film. You know, there. Here's the Hubbard and Kingsbury. Look at the sculpture. You see the East Bank Club. It's huge. Everything's bigger in Chicago. Bigger buildings, bigger sized portions of your food. Bigger price tag. Yeah, we got it all. Hey, there's an electric unicycle. See how it just packs up there? So I think there's still a Holiday Inn hotel up there. And so I want to cross the street here, but the traffic's really backed up. So let's just head this way. We can go up this way. Yeah, we saw some hail yesterday. Now, I didn't see too much hail in Lincoln Park. People were warning me about it because I know why. Ernesto, Chicago Nuggies, and other people were downtown, and the hail downtown in the loop was significant. It was larger than pea-size hail. It was like nickel-size hail, like a dime, and it looked like it was snowing. And it took a while for it to melt. Jose Mujica got some good footage around the Bean. Ernesto, Chicago Nuggies, got some good footage around the Columbus Street Bridge. I reposted his. And yeah, the hail was really bad. Where Chris was at in Lake County, his brother or somebody, his brother-in-law filmed it. Here, we'll go up the stairs here. How you doing? Here, we'll head around here. It's more crowded in here than usual. How you doing? I'm not used to people. That's the most people I've seen use those stairs at one time. So, but yeah, where Chris was at in Lake County, they had golf ball size hail. And the news media contacted Chris and want to use his footage. So we'll see if it ends up on TV. Really bad out south. Yeah, I know. Kankakee had 75 degrees when it was 38 degrees by the lakefront. It caused the major storms. The south suburbs, the southwest suburbs, and the south suburbs in Indiana got really bad storms. It was more further south, and I think the storms are still going through Indiana as we speak. So here, let's try to cross the street here at this is Larrabee Street. See, they got this viaduct, or this pedestrian skywalk. Yeah, this is an AI video. I'm AI generated. Thanks for thinking I'm not a real person. That's the biggest insult, that we're real people and you think we're AI, and then you invest in AI. You invest in 401k, your retirement's based on AI succeeding. And if it fails, we're all in a big world of hurt. Here's the Merchandise Mart, 333 North Orleans. But hey, thanks for insulting me, thinking I'm AI. Yeah, you're AI, you're an AI bot. We'll remember your name. Here's Wolf Point in Orleans. Wolf Point in Orleans here, Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for tuning in. The whole city of Chicago is AI. Pretty realistic, right? You're living in the Matrix. See, if everything's AI, then nothing can be believed. Believe anything. There's the green line. There's the green line headed across. So who's calling me stupid here? Let's see. Albert. Thanks for calling me stupid, Albert. I appreciate that. What else? What other names you want to call me? You want to call me something worse, Albert? Thanks for tuning in. Stupid is as stupid does. Here's here we're crossing the North Branch. No, this is the main channel. This is the main channel of the Chicago River, looking east. This is the direction we're going to walk. We're going to go along the Riverwalk here, and no, it's not windy. It's just raining. It's just the rain has been steady rain here for about the past hour as I'm walking in it. Oh, okay, good. Thanks, Albert. Now I understand. Now I understand. I had the same problem. I was messing with Wes and John, and they were talking about somebody else, and I was like, it took me a while to realize that, yeah, you were talking about somebody else. Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks for clarifying. The rain is trying to change over into ice. I feel like little ice pellets. So if you're driving, this rain is trying to turn into a wintry mix, and there is a chance of snow later today. Here's the Chicago Riverwalk here. We'll just finish out our walk this way so I can go to work and get some lunch here. Hey, how you doing there, friend? Hello, friend. Yeah, run, Forrest, run. I'm like Forrest Gump when he starts running and everybody starts running with him and he's out in the middle of the desert and they all stop like he's going to say some big, powerful, prophetic statement. And he's like, I'm tired, I want to go home. And they're like, what? That's it? Like the anti-Christ figure. Yeah, the views are nice. Yeah, it's beautiful here. This is called the Chicago Riverwalk, even in the rain. So here maybe we'll see the train come across here. What a view. Thanks Albert. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. No, Albert, we know you. I know you weren't calling me stupid. I was just reacting. You know how I react to everything. People are like, don't react to everything. I'm like, I know. Not everything's... It's so easy to get confused when you're live streaming because there's always side conversations, and sometimes what I like the best is sometimes people talk about you like I'm not reading the comments. They're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, why don't you say it to me? You know, it's like I'm standing in the room and they're talking about me. Like, look at his haircut. He's just horrible. He doesn't know what he's doing. I'm like, I'm right here. You know. And then they're shocked when I engage them and talk their name, and they're like, oh, and then they quickly leave. They're like, oh, he's actually talking to me. I don't want him to talk to me. I just want to make fun of him. You know, kind of impersonal. But here, I thought I heard the train coming. It was probably just pulling into the Merchandise Mart station here. Let me clear off the screen here while we got some dry space here. But hey, the rain's coming down the Chicago Riverwalk on a rainy Wednesday. My glasses it's hard for me to read the screen here. My glasses are all wet. Yeah, so listen, okay, I agree. Okay, so if you like landscape videos of Chicago, check out this Gemini. This Gemini streams in 4K landscape. You could put it on, using the YouTube app, you could put it right on your TV screen. It looks great in high def. I used to live stream in landscape, but TikTok would not push the videos, and at least for me. And so I'm a more of a vertical, because I do TikTok vertical, and that's why we're doing this. But the rain is trying to, I thought I felt, maybe it's just heavy rain. I thought I felt like little ice pellets in the rain, but maybe it was my imagination. Here we're on the Chicago Riverwalk here. We're going underneath LaSalle Street, Chicago, Illinois. And yeah, better wet than foggy. So here's Wells Street. Yeah, the river looks pretty. It looked really green when the sky was blue. It already looks like it's giant. You know, it already looks like it has a green hue to it. Look at the line of the waterfall coming off the bridge. It creates a line on the river. And when they raise the bridge, a similar thing happens usually if there's water coming off any of these bridges. These are all bascule bridges, so later this spring they'll lift these for the sailboats. And we usually film that at lunchtime on Wednesdays, spring and fall. There's the Botanica building they're working on. They had some seating there, but it was really narrow, so I wonder if they're going to widen that and make that wider for outdoor seating across from the seating wall here on the Chicago Riverwalk. Yeah, you see, well, wait till, okay, so if you like the Green River, please watch on Saturday, this Saturday at 10 a.m. They're going to dye the river green for real for St. Patrick's Day. It turns a bright neon green, and they use a food dye. The Plumbers Union uses a dye they use to find leaks in pipes, and that's what they use to dye the Chicago River green. St. Patrick's Day party weekend, the weekend before St. Patrick's Day, which is Tuesday, March the 17th. That's the voting day. That's the day you can vote in the primaries. Of course, you can early vote right now. You can go to a super, in the Loop, there's a super polling place. You can vote right now. You don't have to wait until Tuesday, I don't think. But that's when they're going to collect the results. Yeah, welcome, Tanja. How you doing? Thanks, Albert, for helping out. I appreciate it. Grandma's Corner, thanks for tuning in. Everybody else here. So I'm losing control of my screen. Let me try to dry off my screen to see if this helps. Smartphone touchscreens are weird. If they get too much moisture on the front, the pinch and zoom doesn't work well. There, I can scroll the comments. Good. So here we're by the Tiny Cafe, Chicago, Illinois. We're almost back to work here. Yeah, I'm amazed that, you know, when I first moved to Chicago or first started visiting Chicago in the early 1990s, I was amazed that they could build right down to the river. And they actually drive pilings down in the bedrock 100 feet below. And, you know, it's amazing this river doesn't fluctuate more because they reversed the river, so it does flood, but the river flows this way. It flows away from the lake. So sometimes when it rises, it'll start flowing back into the lake if it's above the level of the lock there. And they don't want it to flow into the lake because then all the sewage water goes into the lake and makes a problem for the water filtration. There's a fire engine heading across the Clark Street Bridge. I didn't see that. I heard it, but yeah, you're homesick. Chicago misses you. Yeah, come back and visit us sometime. I'm sure you do. That's good. Thanks for visiting us virtually here on a rainy day. Yeah. So here we're almost to State Street. We'll go by the Marina Towers. Eagle Seafood's finally opened. This is underneath Dearborn Street, Mass Bridge. Now watch. As soon as I get to work, it'll stop raining. I guarantee you. As soon as I get to work, it'll stop raining. Like as soon as I step in the door, it'll stop raining. But it made sure it rained on me the whole way here. That's what I deserve. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Sometimes, you know, it's nice watching in the rain. People tune in. Like Ernie had 700 people watching that hail yesterday. People tune in to see the snow and the crazy weather and the wind, the waves. There's the Marina Towers. There's the Marina Towers, Chicago, Illinois. The UAE, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody from all over the place. That's good. There's the City Winery, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, I don't know what the big arch is. Is that a sandwich? What is that? UK, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in there, Booty. That was your name is? Boothly. Can't read. Yeah, the rain. Blame it on the rain. I'll pull out my Milli Vanilli lip sync. Southern Iowa, how you doing? Well, it's raining for one. Yeah, there usually is, like on Monday, if you watch my YouTube rerun from Monday, we walked on the Riverwalk. A lot more people out because it was 70 degrees. It's clammy, it's like 35 degrees. It's like the cold rain right before it turns to, so it's raining and downtown's not as happening as it used to be. Downtown Chicago never really recovered from the pandemic. more people than ever live downtown, but they order stuff and it gets delivered by Coco robots. And nobody, they got 5 houses because everybody's so rich. They got like 5 houses. They got houses in Florida and French Riviera in Chicago and New York City, and they're in one of their 7 houses. That's not me. I got one bedroom apartment. I don't have a car, so everybody blames it on me. Here's the Vietnam War Memorial here, Chicago, Illinois. There's all the. We show the military signet. We pray for those serving our country overseas in the Mideast, in Venezuela and Iran, excuse me. Freudian slip there, sorry. Here's Chicago Remembers Vietnam War. My dad was drafted in the Vietnam War. He went into 67, came out in 71. Luckily, his name is not on any of these walls because I wouldn't exist. And so that illustrates the stakes. Anytime we put troops in harm's way, hopefully it's for a good reason. And that's all I'm going to pontificate about that. Here, we'll head past the George Washington statue here, created by the Masons. And Chaim Solomon, Patriot of the Revolution, and Robert Morris. You might have heard of Robert Morris College. There's George Washington, Chaim Solomon, and Robert Morris. So here, let's cross the street here. Yeah, we got to walk. So we'll cross Wacker Drive. Here's the Jewelers Building. They blew this building up in Transformers movie. There's a nice clock. Yeah, thanks for being on board. Yeah, we'll cross Wacker Drive here. There's the train round the bend. There's the train round the bend here in Wabash. Yeah, there's the green line round the bend there on the loop of Chicago. Look at Wabash, that skyscraper canyon. Look at that. Thanks for checking out Scenes of the City. See, the rain is tapering off. I'm almost to work and the rain's tapering off. Oh, good. Hopefully it won't be raining on my walk home. So we'll do the walk home on TikTok after 5. If you follow me on YouTube, follow me on TikTok. I know not everybody has TikTok or access to TikTok. I'll try to get better about posting the reruns on both platforms. I only stream on 2 platforms, TikTok and YouTube. I try to hit morning, noon, and night. Usually, lately we're following the pattern where we do TikTok in the morning, YouTube at lunch, TikTok at night. And we'll probably do the St. Patrick's Parade on TikTok. I might do a YouTube stream as well. I might break it up that way where we do TikTok and then we do YouTube and then we do TikTok, so we get some content on multiple platforms. We'll play it by ear. Hey, thanks for watching on there's Garland Court. Here's the side of the Carbide and Carbon building in Chicago. We're on Water Street at Michigan. There's the Citizen M Hotel, and we'll get you the nice view to the Wrigley building. We're going to cross the street here on Michigan Avenue and head on into work. So thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Yeah, we'll get across here. So here's your view to the Wrigley building with the John Hancock, North Michigan Avenue. There's the Chicago River that way. And here's Michigan Avenue looking south. There's the Carbide and Carbon building. Nice it looks there. Sons of Daniel Burnham designed it. Yeah, Sweet Home Chicago. It's Grandma's Corner. Jessica, thanks for tuning in. Tanya, thanks everybody. Aisha, thanks for tuning in. Rick, everybody else, Boothie, Soft Corners. Lorene, thanks for tuning in, Lorene. So my Aunt Lorene tuned in and my Aunt Della tuned in. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I think that's great. Hope you're doing well. From Chicago, from rainy Chicago. Let me see what Lorene says here. Okay, Lorene, the parade starts. So the St. Patrick's Day parade starts at 10 a.m. Chicago time on Saturday, March the 14th. That's 11 o'clock your time, Lorraine. So 11 o'clock Eastern. 11 o'clock Eastern is when the Chicago Dying of the River happens on Saturday. 10 a.m. Chicago time, 11 a.m. Eastern. It'll be 8 a.m. for Pacific time. We'll see you on Saturday. Thanks, Lorraine. Yeah, it'll be a fun time watching the dying of the Chicago River. So we'll see you later. Have a good day. Appreciate everybody. Thanks a lot. All right. Hey. 158, 181 likes. Thanks everybody for liking the live. I appreciate it.